car crashes into a Lexington apartment building, but the driver didn't stick around. What he told police about why he didn't stop.
Straight ahead, we'll talk about a tale of two commonwealths today. Some of us with sun, some of us with a lot of rain. We'll show you who had what, and we'll look ahead toward the weekend.
Donald Trump makes a run for the border as other Republicans in the GOP race slam the billionaire businessman's campaign.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 4.
Good afternoon. I'm Jennifer Palumbo. It's mostly dry right now across the Bluegrass, but many places have had soaking rains today. This is a live look at Center Point in downtown Lexington, which didn't get in on the rain. It's dry and 79 degrees right now. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has a first look at the forecast. And Chris, a lot of places south of Lexington did get rain.
Yeah, we could smell the rain as close by as Interstate 64, but areas to our south, as expected, Jennifer, getting in on a lot of rain today. In some cases, better than an inch of water falling again into parts of the Adair County area. We look at rainfall estimates, and where you see the colors and point south, obviously showing who had the rain today. That rain line, at least with some lighter rains, getting in to parts of Madison County and Garrett County. To the north of that, pretty nice day that is wrapping up. What Defender is tracking as of now, still rain into far southern and southeastern Kentucky, coming down at a pretty good clip here, south of Williamsburg over into Middlesboro, Bell County. So as we cross out of Kentucky into the volunteer state of Tennessee, rains are coming down quite heavily now. Thunderstorms into northern Tennessee, but all that stuff is pushing into the Smoky Mountains and finally leaving Kentucky alone. We said today you would literally go from rain to sun in a matter of a few miles. That was indeed the case. Farther north that we go, we have more in the way of sunshine. 75 Somerset and Middlesboro, where we have the rain. Low 80s across most of the rest of the state. Look at Lexington. That thermometer at Bluegrass Airport now trying to creep back up compared to other thermometers yet again over the past week. We'll have to keep a check on that. Hey, looking toward the weekend, Jennifer, finally a little typical summertime weather moving back into the Bluegrass state. We'll break that down when I come back here in a few minutes.
Thank you, Chris. Lexington police have found a driver who crashed into an apartment building overnight, then took off. Police have not released the man's name, but they say the crash happened on Jennifer Road off Eastland Parkway around 2:30 this morning. 3 units have extensive damage. WKYT's Mark Barber talked to a man who lives in the building. It's our top story at 4.
Officers say the man who drove right into this apartment told them that he was trying to drive away after he got into a fight with his girlfriend. Police say that the hit-and-run driver told them that he would have stopped, only he didn't realize that he had made this much damage. The woman who lives in the apartment that this car barreled into says fortunately it happened around 2:30 this morning when she was gone. The crash cracked a wall and splintered support beams at the apartment off of Eastland Parkway and Jennifer Road. The woman who lives here says this was a very close call. She tells us that up until a couple weeks ago, she slept against the bedroom wall that the car broke into.
The fact that it was her bedroom just means that she's pretty lucky that the wall was sturdy enough to hold it from coming too far into her apartment.
Fire crews have condemned the first, second, and third floor apartment units, displacing 2 people. The buckling wall, framed by broken bricks and shattered glass, has many neighbors on edge.
That could have been my apartment, and it would have damaged something, I'm sure.
Police say they cited the man who slammed into this building with leaving the scene of an accident. In Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
Officers found the driver just a few doors down from the damaged apartment. He didn't want to talk on camera, but he did tell us he's very surprised and upset that the crash forced people from their homes. Investigators are still working to learn more about a human skull found in a sinkhole on a Franklin County farm Tuesday. A worker who was mowing noticed the skull. Other skeletal remains were found as well. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office is trying to figure out how long the remains had been in the sinkhole. We're working on a number of other stories for WKYT starting at 4:30. Amber Philpott joins us from the newsroom with a look at some of the news in progress. Good afternoon, Amber.
Hello, Jennifer. The Estill County Jail is closed this afternoon. Officials have shut it down temporarily to stop a bed bug outbreak. An exterminator will inspect the jail and the courthouse Monday to see what it will take to fix the problem. Meanwhile, those arrested in Estill County will be taken to the Three Forks Regional Jail in Lee County. We're going to have more details on WKYT News at 4:30. The two men vying to be Kentucky's next governor squared off today in a rare joint appearance before the fall campaign gets underway. Matt Bevin and Jack Conway took part in a forum at Kentucky Farm Bureau in Louisville. All topics were based on farming issues, regulations, and legislation important to rural areas. Matt Bevin said he is from a farm heritage and understands the ag community by traveling 70,000 miles around the state. Jack Conway says he has stood up for farmers and put people over politics. Both candidates talked about how they will help rural communities overall.
And I'm trying to lure jobs to rural Kentucky. They're not coming if they can't connect to high-speed internet.
We have over-regulated and suffocated our small farmers and business people. This will end when I'm governor.
You will hear more from both candidates ahead on WKYT News at 5. More help is on the way to flood victims in Johnson County. The Lexington Police Department is holding a donation drive today. People can drop off items at the West Roll Call Center on Old Frankfort Pike. A group of police, firefighters, and paramedics from Lexington will travel to Johnson County and be there until Sunday, helping first responders. We'll have more on how you can donate on WKYT News at 5. That is a look at just some of the news in progress. Jennifer, back to you.
Thanks, Amber. Now to stories making headlines across the nation at 4. An Oklahoma State medical examiner has arrived at a Tulsa area home where 5 members of a family were found stabbed to death. Police responding to a wordless 911 call found the bodies, in addition to a 13-year-old girl who'd been stabbed and a 2-year-old girl who was not hurt. The 13-year-old girl is in the hospital in stable condition. 2 male teenagers are in custody. Police say they're related to the victims. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump made his way to the U.S.-Mexico border today to draw attention to the issue of illegal immigration. Since announcing his candidacy, Trump has been dogged by fellow Republicans for controversial comments he's made about Mexican immigrants. Don Champion is in Laredo with the latest.
But we have a tremendous danger on the border with the illegals coming in. Yes.
Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump visited the U.S.-Mexico border in Texas to call attention to illegal immigration. Trump's Tell It Like It Is campaign may not help him with Hispanic voters who will be critical for a win in 2016.
I think I'll win the Hispanic vote.
Despite the heated campaign rhetoric, Trump's message is breaking through. He's been leading in the polls. Some of his rivals say they are fed up with his campaign antics.
He offers a barking carnival act that can best be described as Trumpism.
Trump says if elected, he will build a wall along the border with Mexico to keep illegal immigrants out. A group of Border Patrol agents who plan to accompany Trump to the border pulled out. Their union released a statement saying, quote, "Our intentions to meet with Mr. Trump was to provide a boots-on-the-ground perspective. Just to be clear, an endorsement was never discussed for any presidential candidate." Don Champion, CBS News, Laredo, Texas.
Donald Trump says if Republicans aren't supportive, he may consider running for president as an independent. Best Buy is jumping on the Black Friday bandwagon. Details in WKYT Money Watch. And how much time do you spend working when you're not at work? That's coming up on WKYT News at 4.